Good morning, everybody, and how are you? Let me find my readers. Court K got me a couple of pairs of readers for my birthday. Good morning, Crime Story Diva. Slim Shady's in the house. Check out the show from yesterday. Well, both of them. We had a 2 for Tuesday. Slim Shady was the co-host for the show about Harmony Montgomery. It was a great show. Jody Landis made it in, preschool granny. Nani's here. Not a brat. Now that's a cool name. I love it. I love it. Our friend Connie's in. We have some new people in here. Let's take a second and tell everybody hi. It is hump day. Good morning, Sharon. Tree baby. Yes, Slim did a great job. Great job. It's going to be hot as hell again. What do they say in the South? I guess I'm more in the West. Drink lots of water and watch what you say to me. It's that hot. Good morning, Joy. Good morning. Let's take a second and let's tell everyone hello on this fine hump day.
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
It is hump day. Halfway through the week. Been a couple of days I didn't think we were going to make it through it. It's already been a crazy one, but that's okay. That's what we're here for, right? Have a couple of updates before I get to the show. Our friend Lana's in here. I sent her the link. If she needs another one, I can post it. That commercial never gets old. I'm such a corny bitch. I really am. Not horny, corny. Some of the craziest things make me laugh. And that does. Snazzy said she's picking green beans before the heat escalates today. Love fresh green beans. Love them. All right, so let's get to an update. We talked, I don't know if it was the last show or the show before for Monkey. Nucky was in here and offered them a dog. Well, they didn't take that dog, but they adopted another one. This is their puppy. Is that not an adorable puppy? So cute. Look at that. What warms your heart more than kittens, puppies, and children? Really? And camel commercials. Super cute. Last week, they received another box from the CLL family, and Buggy takes this pony with her everywhere. She eats with it. She sleeps with it. And I have a thank you for everybody from Brandy.
You got
Mama, a purse for me.
a purse for you. Oh, wow. Thank you all very much.
So precious. So precious. You know, whatever gives them some, relief for the day. Even if it's just for a minute. Because we know we can't take their minds off of what is truly going on. Our girl Tiffany Crockett made it in. Go check out the community tab for members. I actually have another update on our friend Tiffany. She's been through a lot, but we're pulling for you. And it looks like right now the prayers are working. Thank you so much. Now, over the weekend, I put a video up for Monkey. I decided not to do a show because there's no way to do a show without talking about the case. And Saturday was Monkey's birthday, so I wanted the family just to have the day. But please go check out the video. It's on the video tab. Last year, Brandy came on for Monkey's birthday and talked about when she went into labor with Monkey and everything. Wasn't a dry eye in the house at all. I'm going to bring up our friend Lana. Probably going to watch that hump day thing again because I just can't stop laughing at it. and we're going to get to the show. We have a lot to go through. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Brooks and everyone. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Doing good. I just love those videos and that picture of the puppy.
Oh, yeah. So put the puppy back up because I need to update you, Brooks, on this. There's a little bit more to the story,
Okay. I need
as
to
well
know.
as
Now,
the
I do
community.
know real quick, Sonia Allen sent them a bunch of puppy food. I don't know
She
if they got
did.
it. Okay.
She did, but she did, and they got it, and they're very thankful. So the reason why they went with this puppy, and everyone, so you know, her name is Elsa, and she's coming home this week. Um, is because, well, they'd had two people bring up an offer of an emotional support puppy, the family with the Huskies and Nookie with her beautiful bulldogs. And so they really, really talked about it, and they decided the only reason they went with the Husky is they're just more familiar with the breed. And when Brandy and I were talking about it, she's like, I don't want to tell Nookie no, and I can't take both puppies because, I mean, two puppies. If we all know, if you've ever had a puppy, one puppy is a lot of work. So we kind of talked about it, and she's like, I just wish maybe if Nookie will give that donation to maybe another family of a missing child. And we both felt compelled to kind of suggest maybe Lucian Mungia's family. And so I got in contact with Nookie, and I was like, hey, so here's the update. The Vaughns are going to go with a breed they're more familiar with, which she was totally, fine with. But they're hoping that maybe you'll pass this love on to another family. And, Brandy and I feel compelled to kind of suggest Lucian Mungia's family. Well, Nikki had never heard Lucian's case, so I gave her some update on it. She was really touched, really floored by it, and she said absolutely she wanted to transfer that donation to Lucian's family if they wanted an emotional support puppy. So I got in touch with his uncle, who I've been in touch with ever since the beginning when Lucian first went missing, and told him, and he let Sandra and Juan know, and they are ecstatic, and they said yes. So Nookie's little puppy that was going to go to the Vaughns is now going to go to Lucian Mungia's young siblings in Yakima, Washington this fall.
This is amazing. I'm telling you something right now. I want everybody to give themselves a pat on the back because this community is the most heartfelt, giving community on the internet, and the internet is bigger than the universe. You
Right.
guys, you don't just talk. You show up, you stand up, and I adore you. Sonia's crying right now because they got the dog food.
Oh, I know. Sonia was so sweet. Her email made me cry. And I mean, the reason she has this dog food is because she, her puppy transitioned over the Rainbow Bridge, and she's just been, grieving and going through a process, and has all this extra amazing dog food, really good brand dog food, just sitting there. And yeah, and out of her own pocket, lovingly sent it to the Vaughns to help welcome Elsa to their home. It's amazing.
Now, I'm gonna correct you on something, and
What was it?
Brandy also probably needs to know. Buggy did say they could take both puppies, and she would say both
No, I
puppies
know.
Elsa. She also named the pony Elsa. You see, kids
Did
love
she?
to designate responsibility to us, don't they?
Do they ever? Do
Yes.
they ever? Yeah. Buggy she takes all the puppies. I took her to the park once when I was living in California for work, and I went home for Thanksgiving, and I went over and visited, and I took Buggy down to the park for a little break for the family, and every puppy we passed, or every yard that had a puppy, she was running to it. And this is really kind of what prompted the conversation to begin with about getting one. It was because she was just constantly acting like a puppy, talking about puppies, wanting a puppy, and it just kind of grew from there. A lot of conversations, a lot of preparation. Dad, Grandpa Bob, redid the fence around the backyard because it was dilapidated, outdated, and old, and got new fencing, really nice vinyl fencing up, and so safe, yard for the dog. And yeah, it just all came together in such an amazing way, and your community just added the cherry on top with everything else that was brought to the table with all that love. It's really heartwarming for me to see.
Well, and a pet is a big responsibility. So
Oh heck yeah.
no one's going to
Oh
fret Brandy for not taking the bulldog over the husky, because it's a very personal decision,
yeah.
and
Yep.
nothing pisses me off more than when someone's got a dog tied to every tree without even a water bowl next to him. It's a
Exactly.
big responsibility.
Exactly. And there was, yeah, exactly that. We had so many conversations because there was one dog that they really felt connected to and wanted to get. It was a German Shepherd out of Washington. And that happened right at the time that the search warrant was issued at the Wondrous home. And so then they couldn't, like, of course they're home, they're devastated, they're going through this, and they just couldn't go meet people or have the conversations, right? Even though for months they'd already been talking about and looking for the right dog, and they really felt Tyler really felt connected to that dog. And we had so many conversations, tear-filled conversations, where Tyler was like, I just think a dog would be so good for our family at this time and so good for our home. And every single one of them has their own personal reasons for wanting that puppy. And they have had those talks about, okay, this puppy's going to bring work, including talks with Pidge and Bubba about, you guys are big enough, if you want a puppy, you're big enough to help walk the puppy, pick up the puppy's poop, just all these things. Everyone has to pitch in because it is going to be more work on top of what they're going through. But at the same time, anyone who has a dog, and especially has one for emotional support, as I think all dogs are really, working with them is that emotional support, right? It's what pulls you out of your own trauma and grief and gets you in a different place of mind. Walking your dog, playing with your dog, loving on your dog. My dog, I can't even cry over a movie, and my dog is like in my face, like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Pet me, stop crying. So, the work is going to also be the benefit. And I think they're prepared and they're excited, and I'm excited for them. I can't wait to take my dog over. And although Buggy will try to steal her too. She,
I know Buggy has a way of, when there's an animal around, she thinks they're for her. But
yeah.
naming all the animals Elsa is cracking me up. And you're really lucky about your dog who comforts you when you're crying and stuff. See, I don't have that reaction from my cat OJ. He looks at me and goes, "Suck it up, bitch."
Well, yeah, cats are a different story. That's a whole nother show there.
Yeah, I offered to send OJ up to Buggy, but when we were doing a FaceTime and she saw OJ whip my ass, she was like, she's not naming OJ Elsa.
Yeah, she's everyone's Elsa. It's so cute.
Well, I just love it. At least we have, some good news. Not the news we're looking for, but we have some. And I can't thank you guys in this community enough. I can't. Your donations, every month we send a package to the Vaughn family. And I mean, just if it gives them just one smile, then that's one smile that they didn't have before. And I just appreciate you guys so much. What Nucky, offered to do for the Vaughn family, but it was transferred to another family in need. Sonia, I mean, all of you.
Oh, I forgot to add. Nucky told me through that process that one of her male bulldogs, Brooks, his name is Lucian. Spelled the same way and everything, and she calls him Big Lou.
Really? Now,
yeah.
If that isn't just, wow, meant to be.
Crazy, huh?
Wow. Good morning, Unseen Thinker. Well, let's get to the comments, my friend, and we have some things we got to talk about.
Yes, we do.
You got it. Let's do it. Putting the glasses on. Kitten Farm said, I'm in small town Missouri. I'll never forget the story was on the news. In Kansas, a mom was walking down the neighborhood street with her 11-year-old daughter. A man pulled up in a car and pushed the mom down and grabbed the daughter and drove off. Mom was screaming, crying. Luckily, a doorbell camera caught it perfectly. They found him that night at a hotel with the girl. I remember this story and it scared the hell out of me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I understand. I see some comments when people say you can't take your eyes off your kids. It's impossible because you have one set of eyes, and if you're like me, I have 3 children. I was outnumbered from the get.
Right.
Now, when evil wants to do evil, it's gonna find a way. In this case in Kansas, I'll never forget it because he did, and they got it on ring camera. Pushed the mom down, and the girl's 11. She's not 11 months. She's 11.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to tell you the rest of the story. You can look it up yourself, but she was found in a hotel room with him.
Oh my God.
And
I'm so glad she was found. I'm so glad she was found alive. And that is huge and heavy. And yeah, I don't think people or parents realize how common this is happening. A friend of mine in California right now, I think I briefly mentioned once before, is dealing with a situation. She lives in condos, and her daughter was going out the door and picking flowers and bringing them into her from the little courtyard area, and then just didn't come back. So she immediately, her 4-year-old daughter immediately peeked out. She was nowhere. She knocked right on the neighbor's door directly, started going door to door. The first neighbor were Russians, lived next door to her. They said they hadn't seen her. 30 minutes go by, police have been called, the whole complex is activated, been looking for this little girl, and out of nowhere she just appears back in the courtyard, disheveled, crying, upset. And she said that the Russian neighbors took her in the apartment, took her clothes off, and took pictures of her.
That story makes me so mad. When you told us that on the last show or the show before, I about lost my mind.
So this is happening like everywhere, and you're right, and you can be right there, in Walmart, at a park, so we do need to talk about it, and we do as parents need to be aware, and we need to be aware that it's moved past the stranger danger type stories. It is a whole different discussion where trafficking and pedophilia is at today.
It's horrible. It is horrible. And let me tell you what, unless you want to chain your child to the bed, which I don't agree you do that. The Turpin family tried that, and they're going to be in jail for the rest of their lives. When evil wants to do evil, it's going to find a way. I don't have the answer. I don't.
No.
Tracy 407 said, my heart just breaks that Michael is still out there somewhere. He has the sweetest little face. God doesn't like messing with his children. He will bring everything to light. Such a precious child. God bless Brandy and her family. And that's what it comes down to. You mess with a child, you've got a whole other world of problems besides what Fruitland, Idaho, or Manchester, New Hampshire, or Hawkins County, Tennessee, or any of these law enforcement agencies. You got another world of problems.
You do. And you're right. Evil will find a way. Evil adapts as technology adapts, and look at how fast technology adapts, right? There's always something new coming out, some other way that they can get to your children through technology, and they adapt with it. Evil adapts and grows with all of it and finds those holes, finds the ways, talks to your kid through their own games, whatever it might be. There's been here in Idaho a couple of girls recently that were lured, just that we see all the time, lured through someone online thinking it's, a younger boy, and it's not. It's a pedophile.
That's what happened in Delphi to Abby and Libby. Yep. I did a video about a boy in Arizona that was lured out, I think through Snapchat, out of his home. He wound up in Utah. Not even going to say what happened there. No, he was found in Nebraska. It was a girl. Then there was a girl in Arizona lured out by, through Snapchat, found her in a basement in Utah. A
Mm-hmm.
girl in, outside of Dallas, she was in a Discord about Minecraft, I think. So she thinks she's talking to a cute boy.
Yep.
Well, the cute boy is a hairy ass 47-year-old that took her to North Carolina and put her in a shed.
Yeah.
Fine Art on Fire said, whoever says Michael is the only victim needs to worry about the log in their own eye before they help dig the splinter from mine. Because as I assure you, Brandy Neal and family are victims in this situation.
Yes, exactly. I think anyone who, if you've ever witnessed any kind of extreme trauma, and it could be, a horrific car accident where you see someone die or you see someone shot or something like that, to a degree, you also are victimized by witnessing it, And so I think there's variances. There's the person who experienced the trauma. And, of course, Michael is the ultimate victim here. His life has been uprooted. He was taken from his street, from his home, and possibly deceased according to law enforcement. So ultimately, Michael is the victim, but you can't look me in the face and not say his little sister hasn't been traumatized and victimized by this as well. Buggy is a victim. If you can agree that she's a victim, well, his parents are victims. Some of these neighbors are victimized by this, especially the ones who Michael knocked on their door. They also feel that. So there's a community trauma that's also going on around it where people feel that. So it's horrible. And then to some degree, cases like Michael's, when they go global even, can open up trauma from other victims who might have experienced something similar. So these cases do have huge impact, and his family, they have been victimized. They very much are victims. That's
And
why they
nobody,
have a victim's advocate, because
and
they are
nobody,
victims.
nobody's trying to overshadow what Michael has gone through at
Oh, hell
all.
no.
But I'm so glad
No.
you brought up the community, because I was talking to a lady from Delphi, Indiana, and she was talking
Yep.
about before there was an arrest with Libby and Abby.
Yep.
The community was on high alert. They're in a very small town, much like Fruitland. And they're thinking, you've got a pedo ring, and at any time someone can grab one of our girls or I mean, my God.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening there, and so, yeah, parents are learning and having conversations with their kids, and there is a lot of good that's coming out of it. But at the same time, my God, they are literally living in fear. They know that with 4 named suspects that live right there in their community, there's more.
And I'm going to bring up another one today that has
Yes,
not
ma'am.
been named, but he's in their circle, and I just have a feeling at some point he will be named. Curly with an eye, I'm so glad you're here, said Monkey went missing on my birthday. I will never forget him.
Aww. Monkey's birthday is the same birthday as KTVB reporter Alex Duggan. She shares the birthday with Michael. She was texting me last week on how that's something that, remains on her heart now for her own birthday.
So sad. Thank you, Mama Bear, for everything you do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's just devastating. And we're going on 2 years
Mm-hmm.
that Monkey hasn't had a hug from his mama, his daddy, his siblings, got to play with his friends. I hope it's not 2 years. I don't even want to think about that right now. Let's get to the case real quick. As you know, Chief Huff told us last July that there are multiple persons of interest. Well, I think we all about passed out when we heard that. Now, of course, some people said the whole family's involved then. It's not just Tyler. Well, we know now they're not talking about the family. They were never concerned about the family. It's this ring of disgusting individuals that are suspects in the disappearance of Michael Vaughn. Listen to this.
Tuesday I'm not going to really get into too deep on the persons of interest, but I will tell you there are multiple. Okay.
Are there any people that you interviewed or searched that have been non-cooperative?
Yeah, there have been.
Multiple persons of interest, and there have been people that are uncooperative. I think we can guess who was uncooperative. I am surprised that this fella, Caesar Anthony Garudo, has not been named a suspect. I do believe at some point he will be. He is currently in jail for, well, YouTube doesn't like me saying these things. You'll have to use your imagination. Lewd acts with children. Okay?
Yes.
Lewd acts with children. He recently got moved. This email is to inform you that Caesar Garudo has been transferred from Canyon County Sheriff's Office to the custody of the Idaho Department of Corrections. Now, also, many people believe when Chief Huff said they want to know who this man is, many people believe that is Caesar.
Yes. There'd been even, tips that came in, I believe through the tip line, but we had some through, the Facebook group, even come through saying, has anybody looked into this person, and naming Caesar Garudo and saying they believe the walking person by the park to be him. And I directed them, of course, to, Fruitland Police. So, yeah, there's been a lot of talk that walking man by the splash pad is in fact Caesar Garudo.
Well, let's look at him. I could see it being him. If you look in the back seat, if you can get past Sarah and Stacy in the front,
Right.
In the back seat we have a sleepy boy, Brandon. The guy with the peace sign, that is Caesar.
Caesar.
Now, recently, the Department of Corrections have required more of his DNA. Also, the house that Stacy and Sarah were in had a lot of DNA in it. I'll let you finish, Lana.
Yeah, that's just my speculation as well. I saw when Caesar was sentenced, post-sentencing, he was ordered to provide DNA sample and thumbprint impression. So I researched the statute on that in Idaho, and it's something that can be done by request of either prosecutor, request of state police, request of another department, if it is in for benefit of justice, essentially is what the statute said. So it puts, when a predator has done something so horrific, that the state or that agency has enough grounds to say, yeah, we need to keep your DNA on file just in case you do this again. They would have that there and wouldn't have to get his permission. That DNA will be in that database and can be compared to DNA of any other case that the department, feels necessary.
And, felons go into the CODIS system, so they have their DNA there, period. This request is different.
It is.
This isn't just a cheek swab that they have in the CODIS system. They're being pretty specific. I'm going to put it on the screen. We're going to read it. Oh, hell, I can't read that.
I can't read that either.
Responsibility for sample collection, timing of sample collection, site for sample collection. A court shall order a DNA sample and thumbprint impression to be taken after conviction and before sentencing of any person upon application. Okay, so that happens anyway to go into the database. I can't read it. It's giving me a headache. But it goes on to say they want further DNA from Caesar. Good morning, Trev. Now, let's not forget, Caesar is a bad guy. Caesar is a very, very bad person. His crimes against children are horrible. I can't think of another word.
Well, they're right up there with the, the neighbors to the Wondras, who also, like Caesar, have not been named, but have a horrible, horrible record against small children. And these are all individuals that are directly around the Wondras.
Yes, they all tie back to the Wanderers. Thank you so much, Lisa, for the super sticker. Me love you long time. You and I talked about this before they even went to the backyard because of, they knew, because they had evidence that at one point Monkey had been in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I had a long conversation about this, and we said they're going to uncover a ring that is so disgusting, depraved, demonic people.
Yeah, it's hard. It's heavy. It's heavy to even hear you say that, just to even take that in and think about that applying to Michael's experience, because I just held on the hope for so long that this was not going to be what happened to him, and no child deserves that. He didn't deserve this, and he stood no chance against these individuals. I have lots of questions on how they, got him into the car to begin with, and things like that I know will come out through the court process as justice is served. However, it's a whole nother level of evil. I can't even fathom thinking about. I do it all the time. You're just driving to work or driving to the store or driving to wherever, and you see children playing. And what will cross my mind is I can't imagine pulling up and talking to them, right? Like, I can't even fathom that act. So these people are so low and depraved to even approach
They are.
a child and take a child.
They are.
It's unfathomable for me.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, I can't wrap my mind around it. And how in this world we have millions, billions of people in this world. And for these people to find each other. Of course, my theory on that is the businesses that Sarah was running out of the house, and she could weed through people, because I believe she is the Ghislaine Maxwell of the ring.
Right.
I believe she is the organizer. I believe she is the one that sets everything up.
I agree with you. I believe she played caretaker to Michael.
I believe she did.
The way Ghislaine played caretaker. I do. I agree with you.
If you look at this ad she put up, now who in their right mind would answer this ad? Listen to this. Hey, this is Sarah Wandra, owner of Faith Taxi in Fruitland, Idaho. We are going to be rapidly growing, so please, if you have a car and are in the Treasure Valley, even all the way to Boise, I'm going to be needing possible part-time drivers for now. Work on your own availability, use your own car, keep your own proceeds, 1099, be your own boss in a sense. We work a bit differently around here than your typical taxi. Please no messages on this post about the job if you want to. So you can't publicly say I'm interested. You have to have your own car. They don't really care about insurance. You got to have your own cell phone. She tells them where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Who in the hell would answer something like that? Yeah, I've got my own car. I've got my own insurance. I could, if I want to be a taxi, I could do it myself. I don't need Sarah. But this was a way to get all of this ring together.
I could just sign up and be an Uber driver. Like, why do you need Sarah?
Well, because Uber won't hire felons.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You got a background with that.
And if you're kidnapping kids, the
Nope.
CEO of Uber doesn't like that. But the CEO of Faith Taxi encourages it.
Yes. It's scary. It's so scary. I think anyone who is around these suspects, well, Sarah and Stacy are incarcerated at the moment for, as we know, unrelated charges. But the others, the two that are out, Brandon and Adrian, like anyone around them should be scared for their children's safety.
Peas in a Pod said that transport is to cover moving people and drugs, in my opinion.
Right.
Mystic Rogue said they're Ubering kids. Don't think that when they were around that mall all day. That was another very interesting comment. Hang on. I had that highlighted. Give me a second. I'm messing this up today. You know what? I'll find it. First, let's go through this clip. Let's do a recap.
Human remains found in the ongoing search for missing Fruitland boy Michael Vaughn. That's the latest update from the Fruitland Police Department after an extensive search of a home and backyard just a half a mile from the family's home, where Michael was last seen July 27th of last year. Anchor Karen Lair has been in Fruitland all day, where police briefed the media. And Karen, they introduced some new names of individuals they're trying to track down.
Yeah, and Don, we already knew the names and faces of Sarah and Stacy Wandra. They live at the house that police have been searching over the last couple of weeks. But now they tell us they believe there are 4 people with details and knowledge about the death and disappearance of Michael Vaughn.
4 people, and I have a feeling there's going to be more. They have evidence that at one time Michael was buried in that backyard. Now on the screen, you see Sarah and you see Adrian. Adrian is really trying to play innocent, but he's still not in Idaho, and we know Brandon is not in Idaho. This was a very interesting comment. Caleb says, I'm all about those first excited utterances that people drop, then self-correct. I am too. She said Adrian was dropped off at an Applebee's for lunch, but he first said dinner and self-corrected for lunch. Why say dinner if he was recalling what has happened? I'd like to know if there's anything to that. There's a huge, I'm so glad she picked up on that.
Yeah. That is interesting. Well, it is. I mean, it's, they say like a Freudian slip. There's all kinds of terms for it. But, Judge Judy used to always say, like, what was the saying about it? Like, to be a good liar, you have to have a good memory, because you slip up, the truth comes out in that manner.
And it's impossible for someone to lie all the time, which is why we're going to go through some statements of Brandon's today, because even a broken clock is right twice a day. Nobody can lie all the time because, well, you can't keep up with it. There's truth in it somewhere. But I thought that was very interesting about Adrian. 1 minute it's dinner, then it's lunch, but yet the communications people have had with Adrian's family deny this. They were trolling the mall looking for a child.
We did not find Michael's remains.
After days of digging, no human remains found at a Fruitland home that's become the center of the search for missing Michael Vaughn. Police adamant the investigation is still their top priority.
We're just not going to stop. Everybody should know that. We are not going to stop until we uncover the truth in its entirety.
Investigators say all dogs involved in search efforts earlier this month alerted to human remains on the property, but no bones or body parts were discovered. Authorities now believe Vaughn was abducted, killed, buried on the property, then moved.
All of those who have knowledge of Michael's disappearance and have failed to report or hindered our investigation will be pursued.
At a Thursday press conference, authorities releasing the names and faces of 4 individuals they say were staying in the home at the time of Vaughn's disappearance last July. Sarah Wandra was arrested immediately before search efforts began, charged with failing to report Vaughn's death. She will remain in custody as the investigation continues. Stacy Wandra, Sarah's husband, has been behind bars in Washington County since May on an unrelated charge.
We believe that Stacy has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn.
Chief Huff tells me they have enough evidence to file formal charges against Stacy in relation to Michael's case, and those charges are likely forthcoming. Now, police say 2 others were staying with the Wandras, Brandon Shurtleff and Adrian Lucien, both currently out of state and not in touch with police.
I strongly encourage Shurtleff and Lucien to contact the Fruitland Police Department detectives as the window of time for talking and cooperation is coming to a close.
As for the next steps of the search, investigators will use ground-penetrating radars to scan a neighbor's yard in a voluntary search on Friday, although search dogs did not alert authorities to any remains there. Fruitland Police Chief Huff is asking anyone who may have information on this investigation to come forward and talk to authorities. They're also asking the community to continue giving Michael Vaughn's family privacy during this difficult time. You can watch that entire
Horrible. Now we know that Stacy and Sarah had a lot of very odd things going on around the time of Monkey's disappearance. We had an ER visit, which I doubt happened, but they're documenting this stuff on Facebook. Another ER visit, a trip to New Mexico to get a pit bull when you can get them in Idaho. Check the rescues. They could have gotten one in Idaho, but they went to New Mexico.
Yeah, I've read somewhere like that this is something criminals intentionally do to try to, not only establish an alibi, I was here, look, I posted it on Facebook, but also if that's out there, then the prosecution has to basically prove each and every one of those posts to be wrong. They have to go find that. It's going to be up to them. The burden of proof is going to be with them. So any post they make like that, it's intentional for that purpose of diverting away from what they are really doing and causing further work down the road, to prove it.
And it's very common. We've had discussions on here about other cases where these odd Facebook posts are made. And in some people's mind, if it's on social media, it's as strong as oak. Look at me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm putting this in here. Example, Letitia Stout took a picture of Gannon the morning of his murder. Candace Wells, before she called 911, posted a picture of her oldest son, and you could see Summer in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Stacy changed his profile picture to that of Monkey Vaughn. And then after their trip to New Mexico, their posting was very erratic. It was all about Jesus and love my boo-boo and stuff like that. But it's very important to look at their taxi business, this cast of characters they call friends at the flop house.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I think Navalis was really onto something. This is not my content. This is Navalis's. Look at this with me, because the way to get out of town tells us a lot.
This video, but I really want you to do this along with me. So if you're watching on a PC or a TV, please take your phone out. And if you're watching on your phone, try to grab someone else's phone real quick there. If not, do it afterwards, and I'll show you a screen recording here. Right, so do you have your phones? Go to Google and go to Maps. Type in Fruitland. There you have it. Just in Idaho, and zoom in on south, down south. First off, look at that big road as well alongside it. and the big easy access in. But zoom in just south. What do you see? See a little auto station, a little garage, and then you have an elementary school, a middle school, a high school, a whole school district. What else do you have? Over on the left-hand side, you have Agile Homes, it looks like a business, and then Crestview Park. Crestview Park in a lovely green, inviting you to click it. So you have a school district down south, all the schools around, and then a little park over here in green. This is on Google Maps. Let's click on that and see what comes up. The first thing that comes up is a picture of kids playing in the splash pad.
This is so important. I'm so glad that he brought this out. I adore novelists because these people that some people say are just mentally ill. I saw an article the other day that said, well, we don't judge men for only being attracted to men or women only being attracted to women. How can we judge people for being attracted to children?
It is not the same thing.
That is
not okay to say that. No. Yeah.
But these people, they know how to scan different areas.
Yep.
Know where the kids are, and Google's helping them.
Again, what we were saying earlier about technology, as it adapts, so does evil. So it does provide, while we also have access to all kinds of information at our fingertips, so do they. This is why I have started to teach my friends to take everything. Don't put your children on social media publicly at all, because that's part of how they target you is exactly what novelists outlined here.
That's exactly how they target people. And it doesn't take long to figure out what school, what neighborhood. That's what we were saying at the beginning of the show. Evil's going to find a way. And the internet's making it way too easy. I can't love this video enough. Please make sure you subscribe to Novelist because he's definitely onto something.
It's the very first thing. So pictures of kids playing in the pool. This is all just around the corner now from Monkey's house. The fourth picture over is taken by the same user. Looks like it's on the same day. Now, if you were in my live the other day, you know about this, but I don't know whether they're his kids, whether they're someone else's kids, but you shouldn't be doing this anyway. But that's the first two pictures that you get if you click on the park next to the school district. These photos were uploaded in July 2021. So anybody who's scouting this area or interested in kids that clicked on this.
July of 2021. Michael was abducted July of 2021. I put his link in here.
In July 2021 would have seen those photos. If you were looking on this map, it looks like you can get a better view of the park up on Cornwall Way. If this area was scouted for kids, remember it's across the road from the school district and has easy access to the road. Would they click on this park, on this photo? Would that attract a predator into the neighborhood? If there was a dodgy tourist in the area or passing through Fruitland that day and they clicked on this park on Google and seen those photos, are they more likely or less likely to go have a look? And if someone went into this park that day for a look and they travelled up Cornwall Way to try and get in around the back to get a better look, when they turn around, when they go to come back out of that neighbourhood, there's a few seconds that day where they will have visibility of Monkey, alone, shielded from view on a corner. Who clicked on this photo in July? I've clicked it about 30 times in the last few days. Was that tracked? Was I tracked when I scrolled over and looked at that fourth photo? It's a small park in a small town. There can't be that many people clicking on this photo in July. Has my data been tracked, and do Google now have a record of it? And is this something that the FBI can get easily? If they can, my data is now on a list of someone having access to that park, and all of you who played along with me is as well. If you did it on Wi-Fi, Google knows your phone and knows the address of where you were when you viewed it. And I think if this area was scouted out in July, or if there was a dodgy tourist in the area, there is a good chance they clicked on this park. These photos would have been nothing but a calling card, an invitation to go and get a better look. Is this what brought the person in that day? It could have been, and that's how easy it happens. Stop putting neighborhood parks on Google. Stop taking photos of wet kids and uploading them to Google. It's so dangerous. And I wouldn't at all be surprised if this is related to Michael getting lured away. I made a new poster today. I put the focus on his different faces that he'd make and his different haircuts. Somebody knows exactly where he is. A lot of people know the person who knows exactly where he is. Please share it if you are anywhere in the USA or Canada. Please share this video so we can get more people interested in Monkey and we can get more people on our list.
He's so right. It is so dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
You know, then we have people, and I mean, I don't care what anyone does. I really don't. But there was a little girl that went missing not too far from me, and all the mom had was like filtered pictures of her.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to help anybody. We know she's not a bunny.
Yeah.
We know she doesn't have a reindeer nose.
Oh, that's sad.
You think I'm really looking for a baby with a reindeer nose and bunny ears with pink glasses?
Oh, that's sad. Did they find her?
Yes.
Oh, good.
It's a scary, scary world we're at. And I'm telling you what, this with Monkey hurts my heart. Okay, on Saturday, I want to clear this up with everybody. Monkey is his nickname, okay? Just like my children have nicknames. I had a comment under the video for his birthday of a woman saying I was being racist. I'm not being racist. It's his nickname. Okay? It's just a nickname. Now, we need to we got a sect of society that needs to start worrying about what's really important and stop with the distractions.
Yeah, that's it right there. There's been far too much distraction in Michael's case, and it hurts my heart because I think that one day, as the justice process goes through, we will learn how long they had him at that house and how much distraction there was to keep from, keeping him hidden and focusing on the family, and instead of, looking for options and really seeing what's going on in our neighborhoods. And I think if anything, that's something everyone that's listening to this can take away and look at what Novelist just outlined in that video. Look at how this neighborhood's outlined. Look at what the Wonders were running. Basically a flop house. Like, if you see activity in your neighborhood like that, this is a sign. This is how you can be aware and help your community be safer.
Yeah. And that's what we really, really need to do.
Yes.
And, support each other and not tear these people up who are going through hell. Through hell. I mean, as long as Tyler and Brandy know, this community is 100% behind them. They
do. And they, the community of Fruitland and Payette County and around have been amazing too. And they do have a lot of support, and they do appreciate everyone. I can't say it enough, because even the little things, the boxes, the presents, the notes, the messages saying, hey, just thinking of you, like, that is literally what is carrying them through. Our support, our being there, our answering the phone when they need it, is what's carrying them through this. Because that's what I say to Brandy, like in those moments when it's just her and I, and it's those talks, very private moments. I'm like, I wish so bad that I could just fix this and change this, but I can't. All I can do is be, link arms with everyone else around you and help carry you through it. That's all I can do.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to play part of this. Again, I told you about Navalis's channel. He's done great work, not just on Monkey, but other cases. This is from Jonathan Lee Riches. He screen recorded a FaceTime with Brandon. Again, we talk about the cases, not the faces. This isn't about the creator. It's about the content. And I think a lot of stuff came out in this video. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's best to go over to Jonathan's channel and you can watch it in its entirety. So I know a few people still have questions about the parents. That has been cleared up. Here's the chief himself.
I'd like to note that after a year-long thorough investigation, the family is not a focus of our investigation at this point. They are continuing to fully cooperate with us in all of our efforts from the investigation standpoint. Today, as members of this community,
they're not a focus. We know who the focus is. Stacy, Sarah, Brandon, Adrian, and I have a feeling Caesar might get in there somewhere. So let's go through this. Chief Huff, this is his life's mission, let me tell you.
Yes, it is.
I bet this man wakes up thinking about this case. I bet throughout the day, it's all he wants, he's interested in, not saying that the community is not important. When he goes to sleep, that's what's on his mind. Snazzy, thank you very much. She said, I spent 8 years and making Identikit of America ID cards throughout schools in North Carolina. Always important to have updated photos of your kids with height and weight.
Yes,
God
it
bless
is.
you, Snazzy. The FBI also has an app you can download, and you put current pictures of your children. It doesn't have to be a picture with the Easter bunny or in their best Christmas clothes, but what looks most like them.
There's another one I saw called Help Find Me. Is another app that you can use to keep like your family's, important information in case they go missing. And I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up and send it to you, Brooks. But Elizabeth Smart is part of one too, like creating an app helping parents, keep that information and keep their kids safe and be able to help if they go missing. So I'll find out what that one is too. But there's good stuff coming with technology as well.
And Elizabeth Smart is an amazing advocate. I have sent emails before to tell her about Michael Vaughn. I know she's a busy woman. And speaking of Elizabeth Smart, she was taken out of her bedroom when she was sleeping. Like Polly Klaas, she was having a slumber party. Evil will do what evil wants to do.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't have the answer. I just don't. I don't have the answer. I wish I did. But we know Brandon doesn't have the answer. We're going to sift through the lies, okay?
They're in the mix. So this is very important because a lot of people are following the Michael Vaughn case, and people just want answers. People want Michael found. They want insight on the Wanderers. They want to know everything. So, can you just explain what's going on here?
What's that?
Can you explain what's going on? Like what happened? What went down? What's up?
Yeah, the people that I used to stay with sometimes on the weekend and drive taxi for or whatever, they're involved in some big shit about. They're saying they know more about the Michael Vaughn case and everything like that. And I heard that they're saying that they actually killed him themselves.
Now, who said that?
I think the detectives told me that that's what Stacy and Sarah said themselves, is that they did it or they were involved in it or they know who did.
All right, Brandon. I appreciate you being a Boy Scout in the hot tub. Oh, we have a photo. But the thing is, if Sarah and Stacy confess to this, they would be charged with it.
Uh-huh.
Brandon has all the answers, but when he talks about Adrian and Caesar, well, I'm all ears anyway.
Interesting. Do you know any names or other these people? Who are they?
One of the people that went to their house before was Tanner Butler. I just looked at my Facebook page now, and his name's Tanner Butler. He was staying there with me and Stacy and Sarah at the time. Like all four of us were roommates.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
And then
Okay, so we have another name. Tanner Butler was also in the flop house. What do we know about Tanner Butler, Lana?
Tanner Butler is the victim involved in the current charges that Sarah Wondra is facing. So the gun charge and the whatnot. I don't know all the details, but Tanner Butler is the person that she allegedly pulled a gun on, or what that charge is all about. Tanner and his mom did come down for one of the hearings, because he was, had to be there in case he was going to be called to testify. And they did meet, and they did walk up to Brandy and introduce themselves. And Tanner's mom was so gracious and so amazing. Brandy said she was hugging Brandy and crying, and Tanner seemed like a really nice kid. Seemed like she said he was doing well. He's no longer living in the area. He lives out of the area, so he had to travel in. So it does seem like he got away from potentially falling into this lifestyle, right? He seemed like he was doing okay. So that's what we know about Tanner Butler to date.
But Brandon made sure to use his name.
Mm-hmm. He was not there at the time that Michael went missing. He had moved out, according to Tanner and his mother, months before, because it was after the incident that Sarah's being charged with. Like, he didn't hang around after she pulled a gun on him and all that happened. He moved out, he left. So he had not been living there for quite some time. And yet still expressed having deep empathy, almost a sense of like could have done something to somehow prevent this. But he didn't. He at least exclaimed that he did not know anything about this agenda with taking Michael, and he very much matter of factly was not there when Michael was taken.
Okay, I have to mute Lana when I talk because for some reason we have an echo. I don't know. I don't work in production. You know what I mean? I just think it's very convenient that Brandon brings up someone who was also a victim of the Wondras and who wasn't even there. What kind of game are we playing here, Brandon? Like I said, the truth is in there somewhere. Am I echoing right now? I have to mute Lana when I talk.
And I guess the whole thing on how this started was the fact that Sarah, like, kind of threatened him, or like told him, get out of my house and don't come here no more because you were drinking, and I don't want you to be a bad influence on my poor little husband Stacy, blah blah blah.
So yeah, and that was the incident earlier this year, April, around the beginning of April, right? They got arrested.
Correct.
Who got arrested?
Sarah did. Sarah Wondra. And then Stacy. Okay, so Stacy got arrested first.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, Sarah got arrested not long after.
Interesting.
And that was all over guns. It was all over a .17 caliber, some kind of a little gun they had.
Yeah, I saw the reports, and I saw that I read the indictment of Stacy, and he was trying to sell a gun. I think it's the gun you just described, to a gun shop out in New Plymouth.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So, but you're saying Sarah got in a fight with this Tanner guy around the same time in her house?
Right after he went to give that gun to somebody else, then that is when he went and tried to sell the gun to that gunsmith guy. And then right after that, Sarah was arrested for threatening that other roommate kid with a Glock or a gun or some shit that they weren't even supposed to have.
So it was all over Tanner drinking in the house.
Yes.
It's interesting that you say that because I've observed posts from Sarah, that she would make in her taxi group. She had a group called Faith Taxi, right? And she would make posts saying, I am not going to pick up anyone and deliver them to buy drugs or alcohol. I forbid that. I don't do drugs and alcohol. I don't want to be around drugs and alcohol. Something in that sense.
Yes, sir.
So, maybe, she's just didn't want alcohol in the house. How long was Tanner staying there for?
He was staying there for I'd say we had a relationship for 2 or 3 months off and on, where he just kind of come in, and then they gave him a taxi ride one day, and then they said that he could come kind of stay with them at nighttime a little bit so he could get a job in the day.
Okay, this is odd. Brandon says they had a relationship for 2 or 3 months. That's not how you describe a roommate. That's not how you describe a friend.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, they had a relationship. I think I fixed the echo. They had a relationship for 2 or 3 months. By the way, there's some construction going on around here, so you're going to hear banging on the wall. And so they said he could stay there a little bit. He could stay there a little bit at night, but work during the day. Sarah had quite a business going on.
And they're just trying to help him, give him a place to stay at night so he could work in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, get back on his feet, and then he's going to go back to his parents or whatever.
Interesting. So how long were you there at the house for?
I probably knew him for 2 years in total, and I probably stayed with them off and on for a year because I went out and drove taxis at their little Faith Taxi business.
Yeah.
So I'd take people to Walmart and give them groceries and help them out in the community and stuff like that. And then I'd go back and kind of hang out with them at nighttime, and we'd do a little barbecuing, drink a couple beers, or whatever. And then after that.
Wait, and pump beers. He just said that they didn't like the alcohol. He also was present with Stacy when he sold that gun in New Plymouth. Brandon's name is in those court documents, so he wrote along.
Yes, he is. But Brandon takes himself out of all the wrongdoing scenarios and puts other people's names in. I had a relationship with him for 2 to 3 months. I've known him for 2 years, and I stayed there off and on for a year. But I have pictures of him in March of 2022 sleeping on the couch with the dog under his ass.
Brandon is way more involved than he is alluding to in this interview, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And he's going down.
Oh, yeah, we will not stop. We will not stop. The best thing to do would be for them to come forward, like Chief Huff said in the press conferences when he was like, the window of opportunity is closing. They need to come forward and tell us what happened. They need to tell us where Michael's at. We will not stop. I mean, I hope to God these people aren't sleeping, even though I know they're probably out there hunting for new children. They're trying to do this again, and we won't allow that. We will make sure that justice is served, and every single person that knew or was involved will be brought to justice.
And his Freudian slip is very interesting. The fake taxi business, yet he was helping out the community, taking people to Walmart to get groceries.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just like they went to the gas station to get milk that night.
Went to the gas station to get milk that night. Now, I don't know about you guys, unless you have children at home, who at the end of a busy day says, I'm going to run out and get a gallon of milk. Now he's sitting here contradicting himself again, saying, I'd go and have a couple of beers. But Sarah supposedly assaulted that one guy because she doesn't want alcohol in the house. I think we know who they got milk for.
That was pretty much it.
Did how much did they pay you doing the taxi? What were they paying?
Usually they charge like $2.25 or 50 cents a mile. So basically, they'll go out and let people go where they want to go, and they just cover the fuel and give them like a little tip or whatever to help them with groceries.
Okay. Did they have other people working for them besides you?
Yeah, they had one other guy that was working there, and then me and Stacy and Sarah. So there's like 4 total.
What was the other person's name? Do you know?
The other guy was I want to say it was another Hispanic guy that was my friend that they met during that time.
Yeah.
And we kind of hung out, and he had an SUV, and we drove around a little bit and talked, and he kind of stayed there like 1 or 2 nights, and then after that he just kind of headed out.
You don't know his name?
I want to say it was like, it wasn't Jesus, it was like, it was kind of like Caesar or Jesus, kind of like one of those names, but it started with the
Caesar or Jesus, like he can't remember. This
He
is
said,
just.
Well, you know my conversation I had with Brandon.
Yes.
I can't say it on here. Oh yeah, Caesar was there. Oh yeah.
Oh, I won't repeat that either. That's only for Brandon to share. But Caesar was a big part of it.
Caesar was
according to Brandon.
And there he is giving the peace sign behind Stacy and Sarah while Brandon's asleep. His name's not Jesus, but I think it's like
it's I don't know, some Hispanic name. I can't quite remember.
Nothing like me going, I think her name, it's not Penelope, but it might be Lana. Jesus and Caesar are nothing alike. He knows exactly who Caesar Garudo is.
He knows exactly who Caesar Garudo is. He gave you the whole rundown directly on who Caesar Garudo is one-on-one and Caesar's involvement. So he needs to bring that information forward. And Caesar's in in prison now. I mean, I looked, he's got 7 years. So, you know, how people like him do in prison.
And here's Caesar on the screen right here. He's in prison. They have an eye on him for sure because Michael was not his first rodeo or his last.
Jay.
But it wasn't Caesar, the guy that was in the car with you in that picture, right? Not him.
Right, because that was when that picture was taken. I only met him like 1 or 2 other times before that. Stacy took me over to his house and we picked him up for a taxi ride, and we took him to like, I don't know, just one of his friends, and then came right back. And then we were all just chilling.
Yeah. So you're saying that this Tanner guy did it. He must have done this to Michael. Tanner had to do something. You're hearing or you know?
No, I don't think Tanner did anything like that. I just know that Tanner and Sarah got in a fight, and that's why she got charges in the first place, because she didn't handle the situation properly.
Okay, so going back to the couple weeks ago when authorities went to the Wanderer's house with a warrant for the property to dig up looking for Michael, what brought them there? Like, who said what? Who said what to bring them there? Did the detectives tell you?
I think that they said that the cadaver dogs, they brought dogs over there and it alerted, like on a scent trail or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there was rumors that there was a little tricycle bike over there and a little shirt or something like that.
But why would people spread rumors? Are you thinking they were just trying to pin it on them?
No. There was a tricycle at the house and a small shirt. We know that nobody in that car is going to get on a tricycle or wear a small shirt. Nobody. And Brandon looks very comfortable for someone he'd only met 1 or 2 times.
Possibly. Yeah, I think that they were, I don't know.
Yeah, because it is interesting, and I'm so dumbfounded on this because we all want answers. Everybody wants answers, right? Everyone wants the truth. Right. And I appreciate you telling me because, believe it or not, me digging in on you, I'm thinking, okay, this Brandon guy is involved because Sarah got arrested. But at the same time, people are like, well, Sarah's like kind of crazy, right? She's kind of mentally ill and she could just been rambling, hey, I buried the body, when it's not true.
Yeah. And even if there was any bit of a slight suspicion or whatever that happened, I'm glad that they went there and looked, because that would be a way to find more clues to what is going on.
Yeah, because you told me you don't think Sarah or Stacy did this.
I don't think that they're capable of doing it, because they're just kind of like normal people that just have little businesses trying to get money, just barely scraping to get by. They don't,
And then okay, like what other business they got? They got the taxi business. What else?
And then they have an oil change business. So they started Wandra's Lube, and that's what came up on the Google when you Googled it.
Yeah.
And then that is why I was there at all, ever, for any reason, is to help them with their oil change business, because I did that before and I'm good at it.
Where would they do the oil change at? At their house there or another location?
They had a little shop over there in Ontario, Oregon, where they did oil changes. They were renting it out.
So up to the arrest, where she got arrested in April this year, was that business still running?
It was starting to slowly decrease, because it was going good, and then one day Stacy had an argument with the owner and his daughter over a shop vac, if you can believe it or not. And they were sitting there just doing that, and he said, if you're going to treat my daughter and talk to her like that over just a shop vac, then I'm going to go ahead and not rent this to you guys anymore. You know what I mean? And you haven't paid me for a little bit anyway, so things are not up to date on the payments. You guys, your contract has been terminated.
Interesting. Yeah. So what about the taxi business? Was that still functioning up to when she got arrested?
Yes, sir. That is correct. Yeah, I was still functioning, and it'd still be going today if none of those charges would have happened with her and Tanner. That's what set it off.
So she gets arrested for fighting with Tanner. Does she get bond? Yeah. Does she just get released?
I think they gave her bond. They gave her bond for a little bit, and then they let her out on a preliminary hearing kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So they're waiting to determine if any more evidence comes up, if she really did try to smack him with a dog bone, or if she tried to threaten him with a gun, or if that was true, or if it was just hearsay.
No, she wasn't let out on a preliminary hearing. She got bonded out, and she didn't go to jail for hitting him with a dog bone. Lana, you're muted.
Yeah, I was afraid I was going to echo if I unmuted while you were talking. No, none of that happened. I don't believe any of that happened. She was arrested because she pulled a gun on someone. That's why. Not because of a dog bone or some fake fight.
And people don't get arrested for hearsay.
No.
So he's accusing her of hitting her with a dog bone?
Yeah, he said that she smacked her with a dog bone and said, get out of my house right now or I'm calling the cops. And that's what started everything. And then right when that happened, me and her got in an argument as well. And I got my little van and I left and went home.
So you never went back after that?
Right. After that, I went back one time, and then I went back there and was hanging out with another friend. His name was Randy, and he was from North Carolina, and he got in a crash with his motorhome. So they were trying to help him with that, with the taxi, by giving him a ride to do the repairs on his pickup. They got totaled from the crash. And then from there, that's when that kind of went sideways. And I went back there once, and me and him were trying to do the taxi by ourselves, but then Stacy got involved and got in with a new phone and tried to run the show in the company. And then me and Stacy got in arguments about who could drive the car, who couldn't, who could work, who couldn't. And it just became a big nightmare from there.
Interesting. Did they?
Very interesting, because now we have another name. Randy.
I don't know much about Randy or who Randy is, that whole thing. What I find interesting about it is he gives all this details, this happened, that happened, and then he'll be like, and then it went sideways. He throws a vague statement in and shifts direction. And so it always makes me wonder, what happened at that point in the story for real? Because he'll give detail, and then he's like vague, and then shifts direction.
And when these criminals deflect and give too much information and they answer questions they weren't asked, I see red flags.
They bring in like it seems like they're just bringing people in because they want to help them.
Yes.
Why are they doing that?
I don't know. That was one of the biggest questions that was on my mind too. It's just like they were trying to. They said that they kind of did it for God or they did it for the church, and they want to give people a place to sleep at night so they don't have to be homeless. You know.
Yeah. Was Stacy religious?
He pretended to be, but he wasn't as like he believes in God. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't believe in like all the religious practices like most people.
Yeah.
But they went to church and they paid tithes and tried to help people and got money from the church to pay their bills, and they were with the church, you know.
Interesting. Well, see, because people are saying about Sarah, right? Because they're saying right after Michael Vaughn went missing, then she starts making all these religious posts, like within a month after he went missing, and people are suspecting, is she trying to repent? Is she have a guilty conscience? Is she trying to deflect and try to thwart off anyone that's investigating her to act like she's religious? Like what's the deal with that?
Yeah, I know that they always kind of like hid behind it, or they went with those kind of things. Like the whole time I was there, they just say, "Oh, we believe in God and God tells me what we should do for the day and how to help people, and we believe in doing good to the community and it'll come back around," kind of like a good karma thing.
Yeah.
And so that's why like they were kind of like good charity people. So I don't know why they would go from that to getting caught with guns and then trying to run off with the story that definitely didn't happen in front of my eyes, or else I would have reported it too, you know?
Yeah. So
that's why
it didn't happen in front of my eyes, or I would have reported it too.
He would have reported it.
He was living there the whole time.
Oh, gross.
Not in front of my eyes. He was living there. He was
full
with Sarah all day long.
He's so full of it. Brandon, he knows exactly what happened. He helped cover it up. He is still hiding from it and not talking with police. He is not doing the right thing. He's not living a good life. He is probably out there still searching for the next child.
%100%. And don't think that law enforcement in their respective towns don't know they're not suspects in a very, very heinous and serious crime.
Questioning to me.
And that's why I'm asking you questions, because maybe you have the clues or the idea, but you're saying that they couldn't have done it. Now, let's go back to that day Michael went missing, right? So
yeah,
that morning, where were you all at on July 27th, 2021, the day Michael was reported missing? Where were you guys at in the morning?
Okay, so earlier that day, I spent the night there because we came in towing my car from my mom's to their house. And we came back over there, and then right as soon as we were getting the car back to the neighborhood, the whole neighborhood was on high alert looking for the little boy, Michael Vaughn, and they said he went missing right that day earlier, right before we came in with the car we were towing. And then right as soon as that happened, I went out and tried to look for the kid with Sarah. We got in her little Toyota car and drove to the gas station and drove around after we got out of the pickup, and then tried to look in the field to see if he went down by the river or if he could be out just wandering lost. And, you know, that's what hit my mind first. And then from there, it was me and Sarah. We went to the gas station, got some milk, and then did this and that and came back. And then right when we got back, Carson had his pickup next door with a light bar on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, we need to start this up and kind of go look in the neighborhood and the farmer field and the river. We got to go find this missing person report that just came out, you know? So that's what was on my mind right when it happened. But earlier, before that day, before we towed the car, we went to Applebee's. And
what time was that?
That was earlier in the day after we woke up and had breakfast and watched TV and coffee. And then we went, me and Sarah and one of her other friends that was there visiting for like a week or so because he came in from the airport. He wanted to go visit his family over by Nampa area somewhere by the Karcher Mall.
Who was that?
So that's Adrian.
Is that the Adrian Hernandez?
No, that's a different guy. Adrian Hernandez, I was locked up and incarcerated with him at the Canyon County Jail earlier this year. And he was just there for like some kind of a quarrel or marijuana or just some little petty charge. And he's just there for that. But this Adrian that I'm talking about was a different person.
Who? Like, what's his last name?
I don't know his last name at all. I just know that he was Adrian and he had like kind of an afro. And we went and did kind of a YouTube video that day where we were trying to make music and kind of like a car crash scene.
Mm-hmm.
And we were hanging out with him doing that earlier. And then after that, me, Adrian, and Sarah went to Applebee's where we dropped him off there after me and Sarah got a chicken sandwich and a soda pop over there at the Popeyes restaurant.
Who bought the Applebee's? You or him? Or who paid for it?
Sarah took me to lunch over at Popeyes, and she was going to buy a sandwich for me, Adrian, and her, but he said, my family's here, I want to see him, so I'm going to go to Applebee's and go over here and have dinner with them, or lunch with them real quick, and then give me a little bit of time to do that, and then you guys...
I'm so glad that Caleb caught that, because him correcting himself between dinner and lunch, he should have stuck with dinner. Because that would have them at Applebee's when Michael was abducted. But when Michael was abducted, he puts himself right in the neighborhood. Then he says they went looking around. Him and Sarah went looking for Michael.
Well, and then him and Carson Starkey went looking too, apparently, because Carson Starkey has the truck with the big bar with the lights. So he got him involved that night, he said.
And Carson Starkey has his own record of
disgusting things.
Of what he's done to children. So does his wife.
Yes, both of them.
You guys come back and get me.
Yeah.
So we did that, and in the meantime, me and Sarah were bored just kind of driving around the mall, and we didn't know what to do. So I drove back over to my house to get a water bottle and fill it up with water to bring back over to their house because I didn't like their water.
Yeah.
And then during that time, after that, we came back to the mall and we picked up Adrian, me and Sarah, and then all three of us, Sarah, Adrian, and I, we hopped in the car and we went back to the Fruitland house where they do their taxi business.
All right, so where was Stacy during all of this?
He was back at the house.
So you think Stacy stayed home all that day? Stayed home?
We left him there at the house. I don't know if he stayed there the whole time or not, to be honest.
Was anyone else there with him?
I don't think so. I think it was just him home alone at that point. And that was before we went to tow.
And they had dogs and cats there?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they had one hound dog and like 3 or 4 tuxedo cats.
So Stacy's there. You guys go out. What was Adrian doing at the mall?
He was just visiting his girlfriend and his son. And then after that, we went over to Macy's and kind of went in there and shopped around for clothes a little bit. And we were playing on our iPads and just taking pictures, goofing off.
Taking pictures of kids. I guarantee there's not a receipt for Macy's. I guarantee there's not. I have a question here. Speak Up Media said, wouldn't the camera on Whitley catch Brandon and Sarah coming into the neighborhood?
Well, there is CCTV around that area, and I don't doubt that Ellie has mined through it all and already, mapped out whether they did or did not come in. But that information hasn't been released publicly. That's definitely a piece of evidence that has to be kept, if it exists, kept quiet till court. So we don't know whether they were or were not on camera, but the cameras are right there. So if that in fact happened, just like earlier when they were first towing a car in, that would be on that camera.
Yep, because I guarantee they have it. Slim Hauser said, I was just Googling pit bull breeders in New Mexico, and one in Las Cruces has had their website yanked down. Yes, that is correct.
I mean, did Sarah use profanity?
She tried not to, but when she got really super mad, yes, sir, she was good at it.
What would she get mad about?
She just get mad about her house not being perfectly clean, or things not being the way that she wanted them to be, and just a lot of OCD. She had a lot of OCD and things being just how she left them.
Would she get mad at others or mad at herself?
No, mad at others.
Because like Stacy would leave something out and she would get mad.
Yeah.
So right. So have you seen them arguing with each other?
Yeah, almost every day. She'd go around and he'd be making messes and she'd be cleaning it up and getting after him, trying to whap him with a pot and a pan, just like, you son of a bitch, clean your shit up or get gone.
So you've seen her hit him with pots and pans?
Well, she didn't actually hit him, but if I would have been her, hit him, because sometimes he makes messes and he just don't care, and he's kind of like a little pig in a pig pen, just kind of really sloppy.
Did you ever see her actually hit him or him hit her?
No, they never did that when I was there. They were just like, they just talk back and forth, kind of getting like, oh, I love you, little Boo Bear. I love you, little Boo Bear. And they'd be back and forth. And they were just like jokesters, kidsters.
Did she actually try to hit on you, or is that true or no?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she liked me. She was trying to get at me pretty good there for a long time. And I said, hey, listen, you're married. You know what I mean? We can't even be on the same couch chilling together doing this and that. And I'm not going to give you and Stacy a kid. And
he went from saying, yeah, she liked me, we can't even chill on the couch doing this and that, and I'm not going to give you and Stacy a kid. Now, I think we can all agree that sex was probably difficult for Stacy and Sarah. If you want to check out the picture, they have a hard time getting into the front seat together, let alone doing the horizontal boogaloo. She wanted Brandon to impregnate her. She did. But he goes from saying, we can't chill on the couch doing this and that, and I'm not going to give you and Stacy a kid. Well, we jumped from couch to kid real quick.
I'm not going to do that. I'll help you guys do taxi, and other than that, I'm going home. And that's what made him mad.
She actually said she wanted you to give them a kid.
Well, she said that before, and like when they were hanging out in Vegas, living in Vegas, that she said that she tried to do that with somebody else before, and they wanted to know if I'd be able to do that for them. And I said, yeah, probably not.
Interesting. What were they doing in Vegas?
I think they just went over there and they had some friends or doing taxis over there.
I think Stacy might have a sister or a relative that lives in Vegas. You know anything about that?
No, sir, not to my knowledge.
So
I know that.
No, go ahead.
I know that they went over there and they did like a long distance taxis. That's like how they made their best money, because instead of like hundreds of dollars, it goes to thousands of dollars. So that's how they make their better money traveling across country.
Yeah, because right after, okay, for one other question about you. So you've done no sexual stuff with Sarah ever?
Well, at one time or another, we were just kind of like hanging out, laying on a mattress. She was trying to make out with me, this or that, and kind of like fill me up a little bit. And I said, whoa, slow down. You're already married, So from there, that was about the part.
So she's doing this while she's playing the God card, religious card.
Right.
He tapped that.
But
he did. So did Adrian. So did anybody else. That was part of the payment to be there.
Oh, yeah.
House. You think that they didn't munch a rug while they were there? Of course they did.
Brooks. You kill me.
He did. Listen to me.
Oh.
Well, we did
No,
this.
I know the way. At least we know. Matter of factly, Brandon and Sarah did from this interview because he just laid it all out. No pun intended here. Yeah, he did. He did. He was trying to give her that baby. And there's another channel. I should have sent you the clip. I can't remember recently, but I'll send it to you and we can do it for the next show. But she had some interesting footage that she caught around this time where Brandon was there, allegedly not making babies with Sarah, that, maybe Sarah might have been pregnant. This video does make you question if there had been a pregnancy at one point for her.
It seemed like that's the whole reason she wanted all these people in the flop house, because I guarantee everybody had to get a ride on Sarah. She was the Euro Disney of the home. We just did this and that. I know what this and that means.
Yeah. That's why I don't like religion. It puts a bad taste in my mouth and others. It's like, you can't do stuff like that if you're going to pretend like you're holier than thou,
Yeah. Now, do you know anything about their trip to Texas in around, I guess, a couple months after Michael Vaughn went missing? They went to Texas?
No, sir. I know nothing about that recent. Now, I do recall them saying something about that previously where Sarah lived in Texas with another man. Okay. Now, I don't know nothing about that, but I know it was kind of like not a good deal.
So it's my belief that Sarah was once married prior to Stacy. Yes, I believe it was to a last name of a guy named Chambers.
Yep, that might be him.
Ricky Chambers, I believe.
Yep, I think that sounds right.
So he does have ties to Texas and Arkansas and Oregon. So maybe that's why she was there. I don't know. Did she ever talk about her ex-husband?
See, this made him nervous. He shook his head. He goes, I don't know, maybe. I don't know, maybe. Because Jonathan's given a name and he's like, I don't know, maybe. He's trying to say no, but he's shaking his head, yes. Look at this. I don't know, maybe.
For one other question about you. So you've done no sexual stuff with Sarah ever?
Well, at one time or another, we were just kind of like hanging out, laying on a mattress. She was trying to make out with me, this or that, and kind of like fill me up a little bit. And I said, whoa, slow down. You're already married, So from there, that was about the part.
So she's doing this while she's playing the God card, religious card.
Right. Yeah. That's why I don't like religion. It puts a bad taste in my mouth and others. It's like, you can't do stuff like that if you're going to.
Well, we know what the bad taste in his mouth is from, and nothing's going to kill it like Coors Banquet beer. And he's guzzling those like he's going to the chair.
Pretend like you're holier than thou,
Yeah. Now, do you know anything about their trip to Texas in around, I guess, a couple months after Michael Vaughn went missing? They went to Texas?
No, sir. I know nothing about that recent. Now, I do recall them saying something about that previously where Sarah lived in Texas with another man. Okay. Now, I don't know nothing about that, but I know it was kind of like not a good deal.
So it's my belief that Sarah was once married prior to Stacy. I believe it was to a last name of a guy named Chambers.
Yep, that might be him.
Ricky Chambers, I believe.
Yep, I think that sounds right.
So he does have ties to Texas and Arkansas and Oregon. So maybe that's why she was there. I don't know. Did she ever talk about her ex-husband?
She talked about him a couple times about like how she wanted to get out of there, and then he got mad one time and kind of locked her in a room, and they were fighting way back in the day before I knew her. That's all I heard about it.
When and where did Stacy get married to, or Stacy and Sarah get married? Where?
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute because nobody can lock Sarah in a room. Let me tell you what, Sarah's a bull ox and she's stronger than you think. She's pulling guns on people. She's beating people with dog bones. Nobody locked Sarah in a room. Okay?
No, I don't believe that either. Yeah. That never happened.
No. This is where Sarah and Stacy got married. My understanding is they met online, birds of a feather flock together. And this is their nuptials. And from this union, well, here we sit. It was just sent to me, and it's
all right. We have rings or nothing. All right, we are gathered here today to join this man and this woman in matrimony. Now I charge you both to remember that love and loyalty and a constant effort to make each other happy are the foundation of a happy home and a successful marriage. If the vows you're about to make are kept, your home will be full of joy and abiding peace. Sir, will you, Stacy Wandra, have this woman to be your wedded wife? Will you love her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, and keep yourself only unto her as long as you both shall live? I do. All right. Sarah, will you, Sarah Ramsey, have this man to be your wedded husband? Will you love him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, and keep yourself only unto him as long as you both shall live?
Okay.
All right. Stacy, will you take her right hand?
This is my ring.
Oh. Got it. And repeat after me. Is it Wandra? I, Stacy Wandra.
I, Stacy Wandra.
Take thee, Sarah Ramsey.
Take thee, Sarah Ramsey.
To be my wedded wife.
To be my wedded wife.
To have and to hold.
To have and to hold.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
For richer or for poorer.
For richer or for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
And thereto I pledge you my faith.
And thereto I pledge you my faith.
Okay. Stacy, will you please repeat after me? I, Stacy. Sorry. I, Sarah Ramsey.
I, Sarah Ramsey.
Take thee, Stacy Wandra.
Take thee, Stacy Wandra.
To be my wedded husband.
To be my wedded husband.
To have and to hold.
To have and to hold.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
For richer or for poorer.
For richer or for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
And thereto I pledge you my faith.
And thereto I pledge you.
Okay, for as much as you, Stacy Wandra, and you, Sarah Ramsey, have consented together to live in wedlock, and to have the same before me, and the authority vested in me as magistrate judge in Washington County, Idaho, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride.
This right here is proof that Sarah was never locked in a room. Look at those two bears fighting, okay? Look at this. They're wrestling.
And the authority vested in me as magistrate judge in Washington County, Idaho, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride.
Oh, she got him. She got him. He's not getting away. Look at that. You're not going to get out of the clinches of Sarah. Everybody that was in that house rode the Sarah roller coaster. Everybody was on the Sarah slip and slide. Everybody.
Well, you'd have to be. It was her home. You know, her parents bought it for her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when Brandon said we sat on the couch and did this and that, we know what this and that is. And it looks like this.
Ugh.
I now have the pleasure of presenting
So awkward.
Mr. and Mrs. Stacy and Sarah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And Stacy's shirt is inside out. Boo Boo Bear, his shirt's inside out.
It's the most awkward thing. I don't have words for this.
No. No. It's horrible. A couple of days after Michael Vaughn's disappearance, this is what they posted.
Looks like it's infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Babe, what'd you say?
I feel exfoliated.
Exfoliating is exfoliating your skin.
Oh, well, I feel infoliated then.
There's no such thing as infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Why did she feel the need to record him scrubbing his skin?
Because they're odd. I don't understand half the stuff she put up on TikTok. I know there's messages to a lot of it and hidden meanings to things and attempts at creating alibis with some of it. But this one, I don't know why you would need to record him exfoliating.
This is
and
right.
put it.
This is after Michael.
I know.
This is after Michael went missing, and she documents simple. Well, I say simple, complicated hygiene.
No, I agree. It's yeah, odd isn't the word. I exactly, Connie. I don't have the word for it because we now know most likely Michael was there. So I don't know why they would want to put that up there and what the point of it would be.
They left quite a bread trail for everyone because their Facebook posts, their TikToks have significant dates. Extra AF said he's cleaning up.
I can't wrap my brain around that yet. We still have to find Michael. I know the chance of him being alive out there is next to none by evidence of law enforcement. You know, I'm just not. I just can't wrap my brain around that yet. Is all the cleaning up part. It makes me. It just devastates me what they did to this little boy.
And I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to take a poll in here. Is Michael the only victim, or are we going to find out there's others?
You know, because it's a ring, clearly already, and we know there's going to be more parts of that, more extensions of that, other people that, you know, involved with other rings and drug trafficking and potential gun trafficking. And I'm going to say yes, there are other victims and there are other children possibly that could come from this ring, these people, their connections. Adrian's connections are shady to the roof. Brandon, I already know, as I've mentioned before, you know, had someone reach out to me that was dating him, that had young children. You know, she stated the kids felt uncomfortable with him. There was a lot of tension between her young children and Brandon, and so she ended the relationship with him. So I do believe there will be other children that go missing around these people or have gone missing around these people.
I wonder if it would be any solace to Monkey's family knowing that he stopped what they were doing. Probably not much.
You know, there's the I think it does. I think, kind of a lot of the things that have happened, Michael's case has set examples in so many areas. The Amber Alert got Monkey's Law passed. That brought a lot of solace. Every time we see an emergency missing person alert go off in our area, we know that's because of Michael not getting the proper alerts, that systems changed, and that he's in his name, people are being helped and change is happening, and it does bring them solace, and it will bring them solace when we stop all these people, because we will stop these people. We will stop them. And anyone that helped them and anyone who lived near them and knew about it, you should know we are watching. The law is watching, and you will be found. You will be found out, and you will be charged for any and all involvement or knowledge that you had, and you will be stopped. Don't sleep. Wasn't it Kyron Horman's mom said? Don't
She
sleep.
said, "Don't sleep."
Well, don't sleep, because we're not either, and we're going to bring them down.
Speak Up Media said, "Whoa, how is it a ring?" Because Chief Huff, the FBI, and other agencies have put all these people together they believe are working together. Here's the clip.
We haven't. Although I know there are some similarities, such as the Summer Wells case, but we just haven't been able to tie that to that case. So. I'm not going to really get into too deep on the persons of interest, but I will tell you there are multiple. Okay.
Are there any people that you interviewed or searched that have been non-cooperative?
Yeah, there have been.
When multiple people are involved, they consider it a ring.
Exactly. That's what makes it a ring. And there is multiple, and there's 4 named suspects. There's multiple persons of interest. I mean, as you named Cesar Garudo, he was in and out of that house. He was around that time, possibly the man walking. He is currently convicted of luring and lewd acts with a young boy. This is what he just did. So that's what defines a ring. So that's what we mean when we say ring. And I think as Chief Huff and teams complete this investigation, and they will complete this investigation, they will find everyone involved. And if that means like all these additional names that Brandon brought up, if any of them are involved, we will find out, and you will be held accountable. And that will be the only solace this family gets from this, because their life has been turned upside down. They are devastated. They don't sleep. They don't eat. Their heart breaks every day, all day. Nothing is the same. Nothing. Not having dinner is the same. Not going to the store is the same. Nothing you do will ever be the same.
No, not at all. Not at all. It never will be. It'll be a different type of normal, but their life is always going to revolve around this tragedy.
Yes.
And everything that's put online about their children, about them, about Buggy, about the grandparents, it's there forever. And at some point, the children are going to read it. Buggy will grow up and read all this.
The children are already reading it. We try as hard as we can to, there's a lot of conversations that take place, and Brandy and Tyler are very transparent with the older children, and the older children's father is part of the team. He supports them and they support him, and they all are working together to make sure the older 2 are, getting to be kids and have some sense of normalcy, but they are reading it. They do hear it. They've been bullied in school by it. They've had kids approach them because my mom said your dad did it, kind of stuff. So they know. And yes, every single day will always be changed by this forever.
Until it's totally solved and those that are involved are convicted. I'm going to show the thank you from Brandy again and start closing down the show.
You got
Mom, a purse for me.
a purse for you. Oh, wow. Thank you all very much.
And we're going to keep keeping on. Lana, I want to thank you so much for your advocacy, your 150% you give to this case. It goes without saying.
Yeah, we won't stop. We will continue to keep Michael's name out there. I will continue to do my part in what I can. There are so many people that are doing the same things I'm doing. They just are a little more behind the scenes and don't like to, talk as much. Yes, but we love to continue to talk about Monkey and keep the message out there that we have to find him. There are people who know something, even as small as, just as an example, the girlfriend of Brandon's, that information could be relevant. You might think, oh, I just met this person one time and had a conversation, but it could be a relevant piece. So please bring that information forward to law enforcement. Let them determine its merit. If you have any information on the suspects or Michael, just please come forward. It's time. We need to find Monkey. We need to start helping pieces together and bring justice for him.
Justice for Monkey. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for following this case. Thank you for being so fair, so loving, so supportive to the family, and for keeping the main focus in anything we talk about on what's important. You guys are hands down the best chat and best community on YouTube. You're not going to find a better group. You're just not. You can try, but you're not going to find them. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will see you back here either this afternoon for a members live or back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. First, let's give a round of applause to our friend, Lana, for all her hard work. All right. I'll either see you in Discord back here for a members live. I'll see you in Facebook land. I'll see you around. And if I miss you in all those places, I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. We got another big show for you. Thank you so much for being here. Share Monkey's picture, share his flyer, and let's continue to support this family who is going through hell. Have a great rest of your day.